welcome back. Excellent.
Hi.
Man, so as many of you may or may not know, this man wears many hats on the show. He does camera work for us. I think he does some writing for us, and obviously he's done some writing for himself. This is his book of poetry, and we had the grand release party at our director Ed's house. Let's talk about the name of the title of the book. Where'd that come from?
Oh yeah, so that that thing you just heard, I guess, is the title poem, essentially, of the book. It is called "It Doesn't Have a Name Yet." That comes from during like the several months leading up to this book and publishing it and making sure that everything was going okay. I had assembled everything and I was trying to get all the artists to do stuff. There's a lot of different art in this book too.
Excellent.
But I was trying to get all that together, and during that time, everyone kept asking me, what is the name of this book? And I hadn't thought of anything yet, so I literally kept telling everyone, oh, it doesn't have a name yet. So one day, the book was maybe about like a couple weeks out. I still hadn't thought of anything, and I attended a storytelling event at, I believe it was like Midtown Bar and Grill or something. I attended an event, and the guy who was doing the promotions is a friend of mine, and he was hosting the event, and he ended up like announcing, you know, I'm a writer. I've been doing that for a long time, actually longer than I've been doing comedy and working in production and doing all this other stuff, since probably about like 2008, 2007, I've been doing this. But I've never had like a piece of work of my own, and it had been time to do something. But again, still couldn't think of a name. This guy comes up, announces that I'm releasing a book, and then says the title of his book is called "It Doesn't Have a Name Yet." And in that moment, it was just like, that's great. That works for me. There's a poem in here called "It Doesn't Have a Name Yet," which is what you just heard.
Wow.
So it was like, it's weird how it ends up working out sometimes. So everything kind of came together. And so to sort of mesh with everything, I had a bunch of artists, like, see, the cover is made by a friend of mine named Brian, taking inspiration from another friend of mine named S, who is very proficient with like glitch art and stuff. She had created a picture for me, and then I had my friend Brian try to like recreate that in his own kind of way. So just kind of, you know, take an extra step with it, because I mean, it is essentially me. This is me on the cover, but it's me like a very filtered version of me.
Yeah.
Because like, while this is a lot of it is personal poetry, a great deal of it is also just about my friends, about things that I have seen or experienced, things that I feel that I may not necessarily be able to say in a much more eloquent way, usually. Lots of the times it ends up just being like perhaps even about race or some stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It is what it is.
I will say at the opening, you read several pieces. It was kind of other people did kind of their pieces, and then you kind of culminated with you kind of reading your favorites. And there were some really emotional pieces. What would you say is your most personal piece in the entire collection?
Okay, so there are a couple. Man, it's hard. They're all very personal. Like I have a poem about, you know, some friends that I don't get to see that often, that maybe don't necessarily want to see me anymore. But it's just like weird how distancing between friends sort of happens. There are poems about that. There are poems about things that people have told me as like a secret, and like while I don't reveal any names and I make sure to keep it as like ambiguous as possible, for that one specific person, you know, it's like, this is exactly what happened. I mean, I don't know, they're all very personal to me, and I try to kind of like use music and like abstraction as a way to kind of distance myself from them, so I don't necessarily feel anything, and then make it more artful for those enjoying it, instead of me just like I don't know, applying pressure in a grander philosophical sense. You know what I mean?
Understood. What would you say, do you have any what would you call whimsical or lighthearted pieces in there? So something that makes you giggle, or something that's like, maybe like an inside joke in there.
Yes. Okay. There are a few of those. Because again, for some reason, like everyone tells you need to be marketable and open and broad, but poets still love doing really insular stuff.
Yeah, for
even
sure.
the most famous ones. So there is one particular in joke. Like there are two poems that are direct like jabs at people. One of them is a poet who just like that's not even she's good. I have no problems with her. The other one is a professor at that I do have a lot of problems with because he used my name in a poem and then killed me in the poem. While I was doing some pretty messed up stuff. So like that was pretty yeah. I mean, I definitely I stick it to him as direct as I can. Like no words missed.
And this was a mentor. You know, he was like in a mentor position.
This is a professor. This is like a famous man. I will not say his name on public access, but yeah. This is like a famous person who released a famous poem that got awards because
Jeez.
Yep. So like I directly just call him out. And that's probably me having like my most fun, I suppose. Is
Awesome.
just like sticking it to that guy.
I love it. I love that.
Yep.
Being throwing shade, as it were, can be quite satisfying.
I am not as good at being petty as some of my friends are, but yep, is what it is. I try to do my best.
All right, where can people pick this up?
Right now, people cannot pick this up because this is literally the last copy I have before I reprint. If you know me, you can put up my Instagram real quick. People get at me on there. If you're interested in the book, they can do that, or just don't throw things.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Thanks, Chuck. They'll put it up on the next time I play. So just go there and message me if you want a book. I'm working on it. It's published by Ankle Biters Press. They're great. Love them in local Houston. And if you want to get at me and like talk about stuff, we can talk about stuff. And if you want to just like my post and boost my account so I can establish my brand, that's really what matters. Be honest with you. Yep, Coyote Bloodbath. That's me. I'll tell you.
Awesome.
I'll tell you the story of that name real quick. It's an old PlayStation name username, so I'll just say that.
Nice. All right, well, that's all the info. If you have any questions, you can always call up the show or message the show. Right now, I think we have an excellent bumper queued up, though.
I don't know about that.
Boop.